G'day styring junkies, welcome to Outback Mini Models. This video I've got for you today is just a comparison with all the washers that I use on all my builds throughout my videos. I thought I'd do this just to give you guys a good look at the effects that they give off, how they go on. We're going to talk about and what I use them for. So, and you're probably wondering why I've got so many different washes. Why not just have one wash? As I say in all my videos, I'm willing to try any product, and once I've used the product, then I'll sort of work out what I'm going to use them for. Because at the end of the day, the way I see it, guys, is every product has a use, whether it's for miniatures, for tanks, for oil stains, whatever it may be. So we're just going to have a look at these, and then just on this plastic card here that I've just cut out, and then using just marked out with a graphite pencil just quickly the brands, and I've got them all laid out accordingly. We've got the Citadel's Agrax Earthshade, which is probably one of my favorite washers, acrylic washers out there on the market, and I'll tell you why later on. We've got the Vallejo Model Wash, dark brown. We've got the UMP Dark Dirt, which is a clay-based wash. We've got the Flory Models Black wash. I don't have their brown one, so it's all I can show you for the time being. We've also got the Game Color Umber Shade wash, and we've also got the Tamiya Panel Line Accent Color Brown wash, and we've also got the Outback Mini Models sludge wash that I made in my previous video. So we're going to see how, more or less, this would be good to see how this sludge wash compares, or the similarities or the major differences that it has with the UMP stuff. And man, I love this stuff. This UMP stuff's awesome, and they're all good washes. I like them all. They wouldn't be in my collection if I didn't like them. If I didn't like them, yeah, they would have been in the bin by now. So let's get cracking and have a look. So I've also got just using the Tamiya plastic scribing tool here, and I've just hacked a couple of just quick, really rough scribes in the plastic. So it gives something for the wash to sit in. I haven't primed it or painted it or anything like that, so it's just going to be straight onto plain old styrene. So first of all, we're going to start off with this Citadel Agrax Earthshade. So I'm just give it a quick shake, and then the GW stuff, you don't really need to shake it up. And as always with my washes, I'll just give it a quick dip in the water just to soften the brush up. Oh, be careful not to spill it. So you can see, and I thought, putting on a bit of white plastic as well, you can really see the color that it gives off. So you can imagine, I guess it's more to simulate a gloss surface as well. It saves me from trying to prime it and seal it all up. So I might just give it a fairly generous coat here. Okay, so you can see it goes on quite smoothly, and it also leaves a brown hue over the white plastic there. So what I use it for is I use this more to tone down my miniatures or models, as well as to bring out the panel lines, make them pop. So we're going to move on to the Vallejo Model Wash here. Okay, now this stuff is pretty strong. Now you've normally got to dilute it with a bit of water. I find if you don't dilute it, it's just really strong. And then whatever you're trying to wash, it just drowns with black. Goes really dark. But just for this demonstration, I'm just going to show you like what it looks like neat straight out of the bottle. So I'll put the cap back on, so just in case I don't really want to knock it over and spill it everywhere. So, and straight away you can see that it's really dark, guys. Okay, as you can see, it's a lot darker than the GW stuff straight away. And then, as always, clean your brush and just wipe it down with a bit of paper towel. And I'm going to change brushes just for the UMP wash, because I do have a brush that I normally use for the UMP stuff. So I'm just going to give it a quick shake. Okay. Now these clay-based washes, think of them as liquefied pigment ready to go. So they're completely different to the GW stuff and the two Vallejo washes here, but this is similar to the Flory models and the sludge wash that I made up in one of my previous videos. So all we're going to do is, you can see that's really runny, really watery. Okay, and the colors are just very different. And they do make a couple of different versions of brown. I think they've got a light dirt, and they've also got a mud wash as well. So, but I mean, just for this video, it's going to be the dark dirt. So I'm just going to let that one dry as well. So I'm going to let all these dry once I put all these on, and I'm going to show you what they look like when they're dry. So the next one here is we've got the Flory Models Black Wash. And they're definitely different products because they smell completely different. The UMP stuff almost has no smell to it, but this Flory Models one, it smells very soapy. Like, it just smells like detergent, like dishwashing liquid. So it's actually got a really nice perfume to it. So okay, so give that a clean out, and then we're going to go to the Vallejo Game Color Wash. Okay, so this is more designed for miniatures, but of late I have started using the traditionally the miniature washes like the GW stuff and the game color stuff for actually painting, like weathering my tanks, aircraft, whatever. Like, it's I mean, because a miniature company brings out a wash does not mean that you cannot use it for scale modeling or aircraft, is what I call, or tanks. And they do work quite nice. So if you have been following me on my Academy Stug 4, I have been using a lot of these washes. In a matter of fact, I've pretty much used all these washes except for the Flory models and the panel line accent color, just because I have no need for black yet. So, which doesn't mean that I'm not going to use it yet, because I'm still not finished the build. So we're just going to put this game color on here. Alright, so and you can see that all the browns, the different shades of browns, are all different. So, and which is why I'm trying to say is every wash has its use. If you, I mean, like, not trying to sound nasty, guys, but try not to be narrow-minded and just stick with one brand. I mean, like, you can see all these different shades here, minus the Flory black. Now, if I don't know what color the Flory brown wash is, or the dark brown wash is like. I've never used it, so, but you could imagine that it's going to be a different shade of brown again, with against all these other brown washes. So depending on what effect you're trying to get, so whether you're trying to get a light subtle look, or you're trying to get a really dark brown, like a dirty, dingy color, this is the reason why I use so many different washes, because you get so many different effects with them. And I mean, you can imagine, if you used the blacks as well. So if you get all the blacks, okay, keep in mind that UMP do not make a black wash as yet. I hope they do one day, but I was really wanting them to bring it out. So if you are watching, guys, yeah, I know there'd be a lot of guys that would be wanting it, but then they have their reasons for not making it, so which is fair enough. So, but come on, make some. All right, so we've got some the Tamiya Panaline color. I'm not going to do this bottom one here because I dug too deep. You can see there's a little black hole. I sort of ripped straight through the plastic there. So you can see that just like capillary action, you just like bang, it goes in, and that's pretty much how you use it with this stuff, this capillary action. But just for this one, I'm just going to smother it just so it's all the same as the rest of them. Yeah, I know Benny Mac Attack actually uses the Panaline accent color in this way. He'll actually cover his model with it and then wipe it off with some kind of thinners, and that's how he does it. So, and then the last one of all is the Outback Mini Models dark wash. Yeah, I call it dark dirt, but I shouldn't because that's UMP. But I just call it that just so I know what it is. I should call it dark brown or something, because otherwise, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a drop on there. Alright, so we're going back to this little blue brush we're using at the very beginning. So we're just going to smother on. Now you can see the difference between this stuff here that I've made up and the difference between the UMP like this is because I've actually added black pigment to this. I wanted a very dark brown wash. I mean, you can mix the UMP black, they don't make a black as yet, sorry, but you can, and I haven't even tried mixing these two together. I'm not too sure what effects, so, but just to save, all the hassles and dramas and stuff, I've just gone out and made my own, and it seems to work. So I've actually used it on a few of my builds now since I've made it, and it actually works quite nicely. So, alright, so I'm just going to give this brush a quick clean out, and I'm going to bring the camera down, just so you guys can see, just to see what it looks like while it's wet. Okay, so the Tamiya wash is actually going to take a while to dry because it is a enamel paint, but it does dry fairly quick. So hopefully it shouldn't be that long. The GW stuff is almost dry, but yeah, obviously that was the first one we put down. The Vallejo model wash, I'm bringing it out a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, so the model wash here is almost dry, but you can see the difference between the browns now that I've brought it closer. The darkest of the lot would probably have to be the wash I've made up, and obviously don't even worry about that, the flory one, because it's black. But I guess you could see that the drying properties of the flory wash, you can see the drying properties of the UMP, the wash. I probably didn't put on as thick as I should have, but at the end of the day, you're either going to use this as for streaking effects, or as just a main panel line wash, like you saturate your model and yeah, basically let it dry and then clean off the paper towel. All the rest of the acrylic ones, if you just want to have for them to go in the panel lines, you've got to clean them off pretty much straight away with just clean up with a wet brush. So if I can just show you roughly what I'm trying to talk about, what I'm trying to explain here. So we've just got a damp brush here, and the GW stuff should be still fairly wet enough to, well, not dry enough yet to take it off, but it has dried. So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you've really got to get to these acrylic washes quite quick. See, I'm trying to scrub away at the below stuff here. The game color wash, which was probably put on towards the end, so that, so you can see how quick they dry with acrylics. I mean that's probably the disadvantage you have with acrylic washes, where they dry really quick. So if you do forget to take them off, you get distracted, you know, they're going to dry on you. So what you can do is you get some Vallejo airbrush cleaner. If I just pick the camera up again, just this stuff. But then what I do is um, I usually just fill it halfway, or I decant half the bottle into another bottle, and then fill the rest up with water. So that way it's not as strong, and you know, like it's, yeah, I just, because actually it says on the bottom bottle here as well, if you're just cleaning out your paints in between colors, you can just dilute it 50-50, just so you're not wasting the airbrush cleaner. But then I've also got a bottle of neat airbrush cleaner in a separate bottle, which if I really need to get something clean, I'll use that, or I'll use Windex or whatever. But yeah, so we're just going to put a bit, I'm just going to squirt a bit of this in a little tray. I don't need to show what I'm doing. I'm just squirting a little container here. So we'll just bring the camera back down, and then I'm just going to swish the brush around in this airbrush thinner, and then I'm just going to take a bit off. I'm not going to have this brush saturated with it, so you can just scrub, let it soak in a little bit. Okay, so just put it on, let it soak, and you can actually remove it. I mean, that's another reason why I dilute it, because I don't want it being so concentrated when I do put on the model that it starts taking off the paint below as well. Like, I want it to be a slow reaction to the acrylic, so I do have a bit of time to take it off before, you know, all the other paints starts coming off. But you realistically, you should be like putting a clear coat between your base coat and your varnishes anyway. So you got the Vallejo model wash. Okay, so we're just going to try and get it off here. It probably takes a bit of soaking in to get. So this is actually pretty hard to get off. So it's a lot harder to get off than the GW stuff, but it is slowly coming off. Okay. The UMP stuff, you don't even need to use the UMP stuff, and the flow model stuff, you don't even need to use an airbrush cleaner. Plain old water just gets rid of it. So if you want streaking effects, you just pull down with water or a paper towel. That's probably too much water, actually. That's way too much water. But you can see that, you know, just pulling down, you get the streaking effects, stains, you know, like that. Okay. Clean the water off again, so we're not contaminating each project here. And the flowy model stuff, same thing. You just use water, just comes off with water. Don't need any airbrush thinners or solvents or anything like that. It's all water-based products, so you can clean it off. Okay. And the game color, so it's actually, that's, and the thing with the game color I've noticed is it's if you try and take it off, before it's dry, it peels. It's kind of like the Vallejo polyurethane primer. It peels, like it's, if you don't let it dry completely. So that's something you got to be careful of. But if you do end up getting some, or later on down the track, if you have thought about getting it, that is something that you do have to keep in mind, guys. That you've either got to get off straight away with a damp brush with water, or you've just basically got to let it dry, because yeah, it does. You're gonna have a real mission trying to get off, because it actually does dry pretty hard. But you can see that I am struggling trying to get this off with a brush with airbrush thinner in it. But it does take a lot of scrubbing to get it off. But it's not, neat airbrush cleaner. It's 50-50 with water. And the Tamiya one I'm not even going to do, because it's enamel. And the Outback Mini, the stuff I've made, I'm going to call it OMM, just because of, just so we know what it is. Okay, so you can see that it's actually streaked quite nicely. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to let these completely dry. I'll just give you a quick try to get out of the light. But you can see, yeah, you definitely see the colours there, what they look like. So we're just going to let all these dry, and I'll come back probably in about 10 minutes or something, and then we'll have a good look. Okay, see you in a second, guys. Alright, so all these have dried. They've had some time to dry now. So if I bring this up, there you go. So there's a really good look of all the different shades of brown that all these washes give off. I mean, the Flory Models washes, you could almost look at it as the darkest shade of brown, because yeah, black's not really black. Black's is the darkest shade of any color. It could be blue, black is, yeah. So it depending on what they're using in the black. Like black is not really black. Black's just a dark shade of something. So you could use, if all these washes were blue, you could go from the light blue all the way down to a black. So it doesn't really matter, I guess, in this comparison video. So I mean, there's a look at all the colors. But in my in my honest opinion, I love all these washes. It doesn't matter what brands are out there; they're all good. I mean, I'd really love to get my hands on. I'd really love to get my hands on the AK Interactive washers that they're bringing out now. I'm slowly starting to get the Life Color washers. I've actually got some Life Color medium, just the plain old medium, coming this week. So when that does arrive in the mail, I will do a tutorial on how to use it. I'm actually quite excited about using it, because I won't say too much about it now, but yeah, just keep an eye out for another video. Probably probably by the end of the week. I mean, today's Monday, so probably by about Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday my time, there should be a video coming out. So once again, I just want to say thanks for watching. I mean, thanks for all the subscribers, all the new subscribers that are coming on board, Outback Mini Models. Also want to say thanks for all the great comments. I mean, yeah, like without you guys, there's no reason for me to make videos. I mean, I make these videos for you guys to watch, and I hope that you guys are learning something, because I'm definitely learning from all your videos out there. I may not comment as much as I should, but there are so many videos out there. I'm just constantly watching them. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. And happy modeling, and stay safe. Catch you later. See ya.